Before I talk about Suzlon Energy and where its stock price is headed now, take a look at this chart. What do you see here? A period of wealth building, where the investors' money multiplied in a matter of few years, followed by a period of wealth destruction. Almost 99% of the wealth wiped out in a matter of few years, followed by a period of wealth stagnation. No major upside, no major downside, but total loss of money due to inflation. And then post 2020, possibly a turnaround. I understand that the turnaround is not exactly visible in this chart. So take a look at the 1-year stock price chart of Suzlon Energy. The jump has almost been 8x to 10x over a period of 1 year. What all transpired for Suzlon in this 20-year journey? What does the future hold for Suzlon Energy? And more importantly, what are the lessons that retail investors like you and me should learn from the journey of Suzlon Energy? Let's find out in this video. Alright, so Suzlon started its journey in 1995 when it was founded by Mr. Tulsi Tanti. Suzlon was in the business of generating electricity using windmills. Now, Mr. Tulsi was of the opinion that in India, the electricity consumption per person per year was significantly low, only at 600 kilowatt hours. Compare that to a China, to a Japan, to a United States where the number were 5 times or 10 times of this number. Mr. Tulsi thought that electricity consumption is only going to go up in India as our country develops. And he was absolutely right. He also thought that because this number will go up, the electricity consumption will go up and wind energy is going to drive that growth. He believed that wind energy will be the future and he wanted Suzlon Energy to launch this in the Indian market. Not only that, it's a clean energy form also. So it would get ample support not just from the government but from the private spaces as well. So Suzlon started its operation and within a year's time, it was not just involved in the manufacturing of windmills, it also got involved in the marketing, in services like implementation and manufacturing of wind turbine generators. Within no time, Suzlon became the top 5 wind energy equipment suppliers in the country. Because they were providing end-to-end facilities, the competition found it extremely hard to enter this space. Now, because of the growth that Suzlon was seeing, it needed money, it needed funds for that growth. And naturally, it came up with its IPO. Before I show you the IPO numbers, take a look at their stock market journey in the first 3 to 4 years. The stock got listed at a price of around 130 rupees in 2005. Within a span of 3 years, the stock touched a high of 450 rupees. Now that's a returns of 250% in only 3 years. Now all of that happened because Suzlon was on a growth path. The business fundamentals were extremely well. As a result of that, the IPO in itself was a massive success. It was oversubscribed 40 times and as a result of this, they were able to garner around 2000 crores. And we are talking about 2005. So 2000 crore is a huge number by any standards. But apart from that, there is one more reason that I want to highlight to you. The purpose of this video is not just to tell you information about this. What do you learn from this? That the stock price eventually catches up with the business fundamentals. And because Suzlon was on a growth trajectory, so was its stock price. The growth trajectory continued. In 2007, they acquired Hansen Transmission International for an all-cash deal of $563 million. Then they ended up acquiring Repower, a company from Germany that assisted them in their ambitious project of 50% growth year on year. Now, because of these global acquisitions, Suzlon very soon became a global name. By the end of 2008, Suzlon had factories in 4 continents. It had a 50% market share in India and a 6% market share globally. That was the kind of dominance Suzlon Energy started to have in the wind energy market. But what happened in 2008? The global financial crisis struck the world. The factors that were working in Suzlon's favor, the huge global presence, suddenly started to affect them negatively. Take a look at this chart. What do you see here? 90% of the wealth that the investors earned wiped out only in a matter of 1 to 2 years. Just think about it. You invest into a business and then you see your wealth being destroyed completely only in a couple of years. But why did that happen? Yes, the global financial crisis had a huge role to play in it. But the global presence that Suzlon had started to haunt it. Their products had to be customized for each geography where they were operating, and this posed a huge challenge for them. In fact, one of the companies also filed a complaint against Suzlon that the wind turbines that they had purchased from Suzlon started to split into three, just like that. And as a result of that, they had to recall not just those wind blades, but all those categories of that wind blade which they had sent across geographies. This was around 1000 wind blades across different countries. Now, this posed a mammoth pressure on the financials of Suzlon, not just with respect to their revenue, but with respect to their profit as well, because extra money had now been spent on repairing of those wind blades. Now, take this problem. You add the global financial crisis to it. Now, just a minute back, I also told you about the all cash deal for Suzlon of $560 million. Add that as well. And think of the huge cash problems that Suzlon was eventually going to face. By the end of 2009, they were sitting on mammoth losses, huge debt because naturally they had to borrow in order to make up for those extra costs. They were sitting on a huge pileup of inventory and very low order book because their reputation had taken a strong hit in the markets. As a result, post 2009, their stock price did not recover at all. Till about 2020, the stock became a penny stock, sometimes a low two digit stock, and sometimes even a single digit stock. In fact, for most of the duration of these 10 years, Suzlon was trading in single digits, and that is evident from this chart that you see now. Consistent drop in the revenues on a year on year basis for Suzlon up until financial year 20. But post that, did Suzlon recover? Let's find out. Now, here is the chart for Suzlon post 2020. Do you see a recovery? Possibly not. But in terms of the stock price, the stock jumped from close to 2 to 3 to 4 rupees to around 10 to 11 rupees, almost a 5x jump. Now, what happened all of a sudden that this jump came in the stock? Did the business fundamentals improve? All right, let's find that out. Now, Suzlon was into the wind energy space. From 2020, this space started to see some sort of a traction from the government. The government wanted to push this form of energy because it's a clean form of energy, and hence we see some upside in the stock as well. But was this the only reason? Wasn't huge debt a major challenge for Suzlon? To be honest, it still is. Has the debt problem been solved? Absolutely not. But there are signs that this problem might be solved in the next couple of years. And here's the reason for that. There are reports that the debt that they had has now been restructured, which means that either they have been given more time to repay that debt or the interest component of the debt could be reduced. Now, in itself, that is not a very good situation because ultimately the revenues need to grow. And that is where Suzlon might see some sort of a turnaround because of the kind of push that they are seeing in the overall industry. As a result of this, if their revenue growth sustains and if they are continuously able to deliver year on year profit as well, then we might very well see some sort of an improvement in the Suzlon fundamentals, and the stock price is going to follow the upward trajectory as well. But sitting today, do we know that this is going to happen? Absolutely not. Do I recommend that one should invest all his money in Suzlon stock? Absolutely not. Please don't fool yourself in spite of whatever you hear from anyone else. This is still a stock that has very weak fundamentals. Huge challenges in terms of the amount of debt that it has, huge challenges in terms of sustainable profit growth and sustainable revenue growth. Up until these challenges are not solved, these challenges are not resolved, we will still maintain a wait and watch kind of a rating on Suzlon stock. Having said that, if the revenues and profit continue to grow for a year, maybe two, then this stock can become a possible buy candidate. Alright, this was the analysis on Suzlon stock. What do we learn from it? The business fundamentals are what eventually drive the stock market performance. So do invest in stocks that are either consistently growing, have a chance to grow in the future, and are outsmarting its competitors. Alright, that's it from my end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do subscribe to Finance Lens, and I'll see you the next time.